Hello and welcome to week 11 of Security Architecture and Design. My name is Dr. Alan Dennis. I'm your instructor. Moving on to our agenda, today we'll be talking about the assignments initially, and then we'll move on to a discussion briefly of the reading. First, the assignments. For week 11's discussion, you're asked to respond to the following prompt. How should cache handling be accomplished in order to minimize the ability of the attacker to deliver a payload through the cache? You're asked to create one new thread that responds to that prompt, rephrasing the prompt rather than just simply copying and pasting it. And then you're also asked to comment on at least 3 other threads created by other students. Make sure that you explain and back up your responses with facts and figures, and ensure that you add to the conversation in a substantial way. Your initial assignment or your initial post should have at least 2 references. Week 11's individual assignment is similar in vein. Briefly respond to the following questions. Make sure you explain and back up your responses with facts and examples and citations, perhaps. This assignment should be in APA format and include at least 2 references. As you consider the reputation service and the needs of customers or individual customers as well, perhaps large organizations, there are security that are security conscious, like our fictitious enterprise, Digital Discus. What will be the expectation and the requirements of the customers? Will customers' needs be different from those of the enterprises? Who owns the data that is being served from the reputation service? In addition, what kinds of protections might a customer expect from other customers when accessing reputations? The research papers rubric, as always, this is how your individual assignments will be graded. Ensure that you shoot for the excellent column. In order to get over there, there's several things you have to do. First of all, you need to start with a thesis statement. Ensure you have a strong thesis statement with subtopics. Make sure you state that thesis statement in an introduction section. That introduction section is the first section after the title on the main page of content. It does not have a heading that says introduction, but rather follows the title. In addition to that thesis statement and subtopics, you've got to have the material that relates to it. That's where focus and sequencing comes in. Those all tie to your subtopics that are supporting your thesis statement. And thus you need to have the first 2 pieces, the thesis statement and subtopics in place before you can have any chance of supporting it. And also focusing and sequencing through it. And lastly, you want to close your paper with a conclusion that restates the thesis statement and subtopics, and typically in past tense, that explains how you did what you said you were going to do. You do all that, making sure that you keep the grammar and mechanics in a reasonable degree of spelling and grammatically error-free. To receive full points there, and make sure that you do follow APA style. APA style includes things in addition to the template, which you should definitely be using. It also includes how you talk, the tone, the voice, the degree of formalism, and informal responses all contribute to APA. If you're in doubt, do take the time to become familiar with the topic. And then lastly, make sure that all references and citations are correctly written and present, and make sure that if a citation is present, there is a corresponding reference. And if there is a reference, there's at least one corresponding citation. Those 2 things have to line up. Moving on to our discussion of reading. This week, you're going to be reading chapter 10, which is around mobile security software with cloud management. It starts with the introduction of basic mobile security architecture, moves on to mobile, often relies on client cloud, talks about clouds, and then just good enough security, and then the concept of additional security requirements for mobile and cloud architecture. With that, we've reached the end of this introductory sort of discussion. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. That is what I'm here for. So as always, send me an email, text message, whatever it is that you need to do to get a hold of me. If you have a question, I will do my best to answer it. As always, stay safe, and I will talk with you in the next week.